Well, ladies and gentlemen, we got an unusual show today. I've got Kirk Cameron coming on. You know, remember him from Growing Pains, right? And I'm thinking about this, the toxicity of what gets into our children's minds and bodies, and because of the way the enemy, I mean, the drag queen thing with the children freaked me out because they're literally targeting at the youngest age children, and the devil's coming after your kids. Well, guess what? God's raising up these mama bears. He's raising up entertainers and artists and Christians. My gosh, we got people in office right now pushing back on the darkness. And I'm excited to bring this broadcast to you. Also, I want to remind you that the poison, I think about this, is so weird. Like someone said to me, you don't want to get the vax, right? You don't want to get the vax. Well, guess what? Those drugs and pharmaceuticals get into the water. It's a traumatizing process when you think of where your water comes from, but it gets all filtered and clean, and then by the time you get it, well, you wonder what's in it. Well, I'll tell you what's in it. Chemicals, microplastics, heavy metals, and drug residues, including, I'm waiting for the data to come out, how much of the vaccine actually still survives and goes on in the water. But there's a way to filter it out. And at the end of the show, we're going to talk to you about that. What I do with my own office, what I'm going to do in my own house. LanceWallnau.com/water. Just check it out, because you can put a system in that strips the poison out and puts the minerals that you need back in. And you use code Lance, you get 10% off. LanceWallnau.com/water. But now let's get into what's getting into the hearts and minds of your children and how you can put something healthy in them. It's brand new and coming out of Kirk Cameron's own studio. Watch this. Well, welcome back to the Lance Wallnau Show, and I'm kind of excited about this segment here. I got my son Carl in the pilot's chair over there, where either Mercedes or Chelsea's is. It's kind of the rotating captain seat. Carl, this is a curious interview we're going to be doing, because I happen to like Kirk Cameron, but he's a friend of mine. But you actually grew up with him. What was your experience with him before we bring him on with Growing Pains? That was the show in the 80s, right?
Yeah. So growing up on television, as I did, it was cool growing up with Kirk and that whole family, because it was almost like he was this pseudo older brother of America. So, watching his trials and tribulations and what he went through, learning all the different morals every week, or, when there was marathons every episode, it was cool. And then also to see the transition from young actor into professional creative, as he's done over the years, has been fun to monitor and witness his rise, So it's exciting to have you on, Kirk. Thank you for coming.
Well, come on in, man, Kirk.
Great to meet you.
There we go.
Beard, just got to say, what is a man without his beard? Lance, I think we need to know what you look like with one. I'm not sure the last time you've even seen yourself in a beard, but what's a lion without his mane? What is a man without his beard? I mean, you're like full Wolverine Chewbacca level, and I aspire to that one day.
Thank you. I appreciate that, sir.
Well, it's true. We went to Prague, where he got married, and I remember walking through the city of Prague in the winter, and he had this dark coat, and he had a hat, and it was like raining, and everywhere we went, he was getting greeted as the rabbi, shalom, shalom, and he's nodding in agreement. I thought, you look like a Russian rabbi. That's what's going on here.
It is, and it doubles as a face sweater in the cold. I mean, there's so many benefits.
There's
so many
strainer,
benefits.
You name it. Let me ask you a question. I got this at the top of my mind in this quick segment.
Yeah.
Filmmakers and Hollywood financiers are baffled, according to CNN and the left-wing news media, to say the least, by President Trump announcing he wants 100% tariffs on movies. They're downright apoplectic, because the ramifications could decimate the iconic industry. And so all of left-wing Hollywood is having a meltdown over this. But I laugh, because no matter what Trump does, he has this capacity to just disrupt whatever field he goes into. Do you see? But John Voight is saying, Sylvester Stallone, Mel Gibson, guys like you. Do you see some openings from a spiritual point of view that God's doing something within the media world that we should be watching?
Yeah, I see what's going on here as just part of Trump's bigger plan. I'm not a political genie. I have no crystal ball. We don't know how all of these things are going to turn out. But I generally like the master disruptor that he is. And so he's talking about draining the swamp. I mean, who's got the guts to do half the things that he's done, or all the things that he's done? And, the idea of auditing the IRS is just such a fantastic idea. But who would do such a thing? And who would do all these other things? And this idea of so much of the Hollywood industry being exported to other countries because it's cheap, 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 may be great in the short term for the people who own the stuff. But long term, we become dependent on everything else, from medicine and pharmaceuticals to car parts to technology, and all of a sudden we're over a barrel trying to get a gallon of gas from people who hate us in other countries. And I'm thrilled to see what's going to happen. I think sometimes when necessity calls, people get very innovative and very creative with solutions. And at the end of the day, I kind of look at Trump as a long-term guy when it comes to producing better health for America, making America wealthy again, healthy again, great again. I'd like to add godly again and good again. And part of that is sacrificing short-term gains, experiencing some pain, resetting the broken parts, looking forward to long-term healing. And I would love to see Made in America on a whole bunch of films. All the projects that I've worked on have been here in America, and there are so many jobs in the movie industry. I would love to see this be a win-win for everybody.
Yeah, and it might be that the unintentional byproduct of what Donald Trump is doing, in the wisdom of God, is Chattanooga and Atlanta and other cities that are less expensive maybe than Hollywood are going to be competitive, in North Carolina with the studios there. And you're going to see a lot of entrepreneurial new studios break out. I could see that. And think of those places you just mentioned. You're talking about Georgia, you're talking about North Carolina, you're talking about Tennessee. These are places that are traditionally known as being in the Bible Belt. And we have a set of values here in Tennessee, in this part of the country, that are not that far under the skin, where we still value faith and morality, law, justice, mercy, and educating our children in the first principles of this nation. And listen, that are exporting those values in the form of stories, how good could that be? God has had so many things up his sleeve that we never saw coming. Maybe Hollywood can be made great and good again. All right, let's take a look at your project most recently. Speaking of this, with children and getting them to get a whole different, there's a demand for this kind of education. It's Iggy and Mr. Kirk, and I'm assuming it's not Charlie Kirk, it's somebody else. Iggy and Mr. Kirk. We have a quick segment. I want you folks to watch this on Rav, especially. Go ahead, play that segment, Chelsea. I want you to see what he's working on.
Let's just start from the top.
The top of what?
Hello, brave explorers. Welcome to my treehouse.
Finally, a quality children's TV show that reinforces wholesome values.
Thanks for teaching me about honesty today.
You told the truth when it wasn't easy.
Through a biblical lens.
God designs every part of us, from each hair on our head.
Or scales.
Guess that means that God didn't make a mistake with me.
He made a work of art with you. I'd say a true, one-of-a-kind masterpiece.
While having fun.
You got this, Iggs?
Come on! Hey, Iggy!
The sweetest little bear cub was born, and bit by bit he grew.
Hear ye, hear ye! Get out of here, bird!
Arthur gave a massive best pilot ever!
I'll race ya.
Go!
So, Lance, I think some of the audio channels may have been missing there. I can't tell what you heard on your end. But yeah, this is an adorable new show. Think of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood modernized for our generation. It has beautiful animation, puppets. It's like Mr. Rogers meets Sesame Street. So instead of Kermit the Frog, we got a little green, adorable iguana named Iggy. We're raising him in Mr. Kirk's treehouse in the backyard, and he's got to learn all the lessons a 5-year-old has to learn today, growing up in a woke culture. And he's got all kinds of friends that live in the trees, including another puppet animal, and he's a vulture named Culture, who's always lying to him and deceiving him. and he's got to rely on his mom and dad's biblical wisdom and a base chat GPT, a non-woke supercomputer, to learn the truth.
This is so cool. I had no idea that you had those layers of symbolism.
Oh, man.
You know,
We're teaching kids about identity. We got an episode called Elephants Are Not Birds. It's about embracing who God made you to be and the sanctity of life, forgiveness, the importance of family, and even episodes that warn of the dangers of socialism and the importance of the First and Second Amendments of the Constitution.
Wow.
Why not? You know, people, I know somebody's eyes are rolling now like, oh, there's right-wing extremism. Do you understand that I have friends of mine that had to leave the Hanna-Barbera and Netflix and cartoon world because they were being forced by contract to put in transgender and gay character storylines for, well, we have all kinds of friends and all kinds of families. And they said, this is propagandizing children. So your values get taught to children. But let me back up from that. Carl, you followed Kirk for a long time. What's your thoughts on this direction?
First and foremost, I love the multimedia element, the live action with the puppets. I love the Jim Henson element where that kind of harkens back to the stuff that I grew up on. I love the idea of it being family focused and value centric. That's excellent. And I mean, pardon the pun, but I guess what were some of the growing pains that you experienced in filming and creating this idea?
Well, we funded it ourselves rather than relying on the purse strings of Netflix or Amazon or something like that. And essentially, that allows you to have the freedom to do what you want. And to me, I always think that's why Trump gets to do what he wants to do. That's why Elon Musk can do what he wants to do. He's not dependent on some big mutual fund company funding his budgets. And that gives you some freedom. And so Brave Books, this great book publishing company in Texas, they write books. I've written a few of them, and they all have pro-God, pro-America values. They funded the whole thing and then began to bring in partners who want to contribute to the ministry of this show. And we've been able to make 2 full seasons of episodes. That's 20 episodes, and they're fully funded. Now there's the marketing and the distribution. So actually Angel Studios has just jumped on, and so has PureFlix. So it's a runaway hit success. It's exclusively available right now on Brave Plus, the app. You can download that on your phone or TV. Brave Plus, that's where you get it. You can watch episodes for free and then subscribe if you want to see all of the seasons. But it will eventually, as I said, come out. If you've got Angel Plus as a platform, or you've got PureFlix, you'll be able to see it there as well. And we're just getting started. It's like Netflix. We're adding new shows to the Brave Plus app, and our show is going to all the other platforms as well.
Well, excellent. I'm a huge believer in entrepreneurially supporting God's entrepreneurs in the arts and the media and education mountains, as I look at it. So we want to see you have big success with this, Kirk. And they could go to watchbrave.com. If I got that right.
We got a better place to go now. Just download the app, Brave Plus.
Brave Plus.
Download the app, and you'll get the whole TV show, plus 50 other shows that are wholesome, value-centered, faith-forward, totally trustable as a parent to put your kid in front of.
That's so powerful. Listen, if we could hold you over for just one quick segment, I got to take a quick break here for Rav, and we'll be right back.
Great, thank you.
Clean, safe water. It's the foundation of a healthy home, but hidden contaminants could be putting your family at risk. That's why there's Sentry H2O, the smarter way to protect what matters most. It filters out what doesn't belong and restores what your body needs. Pure, mineral-rich water that tastes as fresh as it is clean. Because your family deserves more than just clean, they deserve water that supports their health. Go to lancewallnau.com/water and use code LANCE to save 10% on your water wellness system. That's lancewallnau.com/water, code LANCE.
Quick question for you, Kirk. Welcome back, by the way, to the Lance Wallnau Show. All of you guys who stay with us. Now, my question is this. Hollywood, and, I remember the vulgar term after the Passion of the Christ, the guys in the industry said, hey, man, they just woke up to Jesus bucks. I go, what's that? They found out that there's an audience that pays for tickets for this content. Like, you're living in the bubble out there of West Coast script writing and culture. You don't know that there's evangelicals longing for content that has moral character. And now Passion created this awareness. You would have thought that, Chariots of Fire did, but they realized, oh no, there's a faith-based audience out there. These guys were actually cynical. They didn't know it till the money showed up. So my question is, there's such a demand for what you're doing. And I'm not talking about just the faith-based world. I'm talking about just a moral-centric of America that is moving more conservative all the time. What's been how do you see this impacting the direction of entertainment in America? Do you think that that you're tapping into something that people are watching and that there's going to be more of this? Or do you think it's going to continue to be a spiritual resistance to solid moral teaching?
Well, I think right now we have a 4-year window of opportunity. I believe that God in his mercy and his kindness has given us some air cover so that we, as the foot soldiers, the boots on the ground army of compassion and of light, can advance things that are true and beautiful and good. I think that there will always be resistance to those things, but if the populace gets behind something, if there's a revival, a true revival, a systemic, deep-rooted revival where people are getting back to the first principles of faith and morality rooted in the Bible, and we want to see blessing for our kids, and we let that translate into the kinds of content that we let our kids watch, then I think we will see more faith-based projects. I believe that there's a huge shift in the direction. The winds have changed, and there is more hope and more optimism, more courage that I see in the family faith than I saw the last 4 years. And I believe that there are entrepreneurs who are doing all kinds of great things. I meet them in churches and schools. I meet them as I travel all around. I feel the rumblings of a revival under my feet. People are standing up and speaking up and leaning in. You look at Riley Gaines, you look at the Irwin brothers, the Kendrick brothers, you look in politics with what's going on in DC and all the Christians that are in places of influence and power. These are a bunch of our friends. How did this happen? I believe that we have an opportunity now to do great good. If we take advantage of it, there will be, I believe, another great awakening led by the family of faith. But if we don't take advantage of that, if we sit on our couches and we just cry in our Chick-fil-A soup, watching Fox News, talking about all the resistance and the hypocrisy, I think this opportunity for a great awakening will turn into a rude awakening in 2028. And all that the radical left has been plotting and planning for a hostile takeover of biblical values will come home to bite us in a really bad way. So the choice is up to us. Do we respond to the mercy of God and advance, or do we stay apathetic and just wait for those guys in DC to fix it all?
Good sermonette there, brother Kirk. I like that. That was very good. I like that. Carl, you had a couple of questions. I wanted to make sure I got in here because I'm always interested in the journey of believers in the secular arena and when they're competing in the marketplace of ideas, whether it's in business or it's in politics or in entertainment. What would you want to ask Kirk while we have him here about his journey?
Sure. A number of things. One, I'm curious how you choose to navigate or how you decide to navigate the saturated market of children's entertainment. And also what was kind of the impetus of you getting involved in that as opposed to doing more adult-centric projects?
Well, if you watch Iggy and Mr. Kirk, you will find it very distinctly different from Coco Melon or Miss Rachel or some Disney project that's got trans characters and flashing, buzzing, non-diegetic sounds and lights that addict children to the screen, which is the point of most entertainment, to get more advertising eyeballs on the products where they can make more money. Our show follows the philosophy of Mr. Rogers, who, by the way, was a Presbyterian minister back in the day. And he said, I've noticed with children's television that there's nothing to give the kids a sense of peace and calm and security and safety, because everything's so fast and lights are flashing and it's overstimulating. And he went the opposite direction. That's the philosophy that we've embraced as well. So while it's fun, while it's entertaining, and there's Iggy the iguana and Culture the vulture and Carlos the squirrel, and we're doing all kinds of fun adventures, there's time to pray. There's time to read God's word, to give Iggy a blessing, and to share biblical wisdom, and let real kids ask questions that are difficult about identity, about whether or not I'm a boy or a girl, understanding whether or not government should be in charge of everything, and their form of equity, or whether there's a better way. I mean, these are things that are being taught to your children and my children, whether we like it or not. They're getting them early. And, you know, to just throw a little bit of a biblical spin into this, I think that the radical left has simply picked up our playbook, and we've given them, our children, to run Deuteronomy 6 on them with the wrong God.
What's Deuteronomy 6 again?
Well, when Moses said, you take these commands that I've given you today, put them into your heart, and then you're going to teach them to your children and repeat them over and over and over when they wake up, when they walk along the road, and they go to sleep. I mean, this is what Aslan told Jill Pole in the Chronicles of Narnia. He said, never forget the signs, never. Repeat them to yourself over and over and over. Educate and indoctrinate your mind with the truth. And essentially, that is how you capture the future. And that's what the radical left has done, is they have repeated the same false information as truth when our children rise up and they're on their phone, when they walk along the way and they're listening to the music, and when they go to sleep at night watching their TikTok videos. And they're discipling them in the way they want our children to go, and they're capturing the future. So we have a great opportunity to turn things around by getting our playbook back into our hands and running our plays, knowing that the coach and the owner is with us the whole way, and we are destined to win, not lose.
Yeah. Just to piggyback on that, you mentioned Aslan. Meryl Streep is currently in talks about voicing Aslan in the new Narnia. Yeah, I know. So I'm curious, as somebody who's worked as a showrunner, storyteller for decades, what are your thoughts on this reinterpretation of the archetypes for modern society? What does it mean for us? What is the social impact? Yeah, just your thoughts on that.
Horrible. Just stupid. Why would you do such a thing? I mean, that's just crazy. I mean, and we've seen that nobody wants that. I mean, even when you put actors in beloved roles like Snow White, who are just antithetical to the kinds of values that Disney built its whole reputation on, you see that parents don't show up, and it's a massive financial loss and fail for the company. Talk about not reading your audience. Families want values that are going to lead to their kids' health, not increased bottom lines for the pharmaceutical company after making them mentally crazy and unstable with all of their stupid content, among other things. So I say, if Hollywood wants to have big blockbuster movies, don't rip off the old classics and change them to fit your political agenda. Create your own stuff. Be original, be creative. Come up with a new superhero who's trans with Meryl voicing it. But don't take over Aslan, the symbol for the king of the universe, Jesus Christ. That's not going to fly.
Yeah, the male line with the female voice. That's almost a subliminal trans message right there. So the I guess the where do you see this going if you get your dream with this new project here, Iggy and Mr. Kirk? I know you have a fidelity to promoting that right now, but I mean, where's your creative juices going? What would you love to be doing if you could do anything? Next project.
Season 3.
We are actually talking about season 3 of Iggy and Mr. Kirk. And when you're in entertainment industry, or you're a musician or artist of any time, you never know when you're going to be between jobs, out of a job. And so you've always got 5 or 6 irons in the fire. So I've got a few of them. One of the things I'm really excited about is actually it looks very similar to what you've got going. I'm actually making a new podcast YouTube show called not the Lance Wallnau Show, but the Kirk Cameron Show. And it allows me to stay home and actually work with my sons and my daughters. I'm so excited about this. So I'm here in Tennessee. I get Sunday night dinners with my kids. My granddaughter, we get to babysit her all the time. And now I'm going to be working with my kids to talk about, frankly, the stuff that I learned on your show, Lance, and other shows. I want to talk about faith and family, but I also want to talk about how our biblical worldview helps us translate all of the chaos that we see in the news, politics, culture, and everything in between. So I'm hoping to do that.
Well, we're cross-pollinating because
prayers.
I watched the opening to your Iggy and Mr. Kirk walking on the set with the kind of tropical little, and I said to myself, I want to get out of this industrial Washington look. I want to set like Kirk has. I want to walk. I'm serious. I want to walk onto foliage and some kind of a hammock here, and it's a set, I know, but I want people popping up in the window like Mr.
That's
Rogers
right.
had. He had characters showing up all over the place.
Yeah, maybe you could
Anyway.
get a walk on.
I was during the riots after Trump came into office, I was going to have Carl play the angry Antifa man. And it would be a puppet character that breaks through the window and starts ranting. He's upset. And we would have talks with angry Antifa man. And I never got around to it because it was just too weird for the channels I was on, which were
Too meta.
already a little edgy on me. But there's still hope, people. Anyway.
I like this. I like this idea. I like this idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's plenty. There's plenty to make caricatures of within the Purple Hair Platoon and
yes.
and
What I'm saying is we need a little edgier going for the teenage market with current events, the echo people, the crazy people with the environment, spray painting, and you do a little picture like Elmo's got his really cool picture, and then some other kid comes along and spray paints over it, throws tomato soup on it, and it's like, why'd you do that? Because of the environment. Yeah, but there's 30% more green than there was 10 years ago. Huh? It's like you just tell them, stuff like that. Anyway. Thank you for your time.
I think you're onto something.
I love you, brother, and I want to see you succeed. I want you come back on. And may everybody in this audience remember, watch Brave.com or download the app, Brave Plus app, right?
That's right. That's right. And you can follow me on social media. I'd love to tell you about the new projects coming up.
We're going to do that, and you're going to let us know when it happens. Thank you very much for your time, Kirk Cameron. We're big fans. Look forward to seeing you again.
All right. Thank you, guys. Keep up the great work. We need it.
God bless.
Thank you, Kirk.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have grandchildren, and so I am looking at this whole business of health and toxicity. In terms of content, I want what I'm seeing like Kirk Cameron and other artists coming out with for children. It's like powerful whole, because the toxicity of what's been coming through and all, the trusted Disney, Sesame Street cartoon world. Now you got to watch it because it's gone woke. Well, I'm awake now to what's going on in water. I got Chelsea here with me because Chelsea woke me up that U.S. tap water in our own office in Dallas, Texas, unacceptable levels of arsenic, microplastics, heavy metals, drug residue from humans that goes into the refining process and still gets out there. And so I said, I don't want to, then I want to drink bottled water only. Then I find out the bottled water is no different. Well, what am I going to do? Well, this is where Nelson McElvaney comes in. You found him, Century H2O. I just want to take a moment to talk to you guys because I installed this entire system. I installed the system in our sink in the main. There's two ways you can do it. We put it in the sink in the office, but you could put this into your house too. So talk to me about that, Chelsea.
Yes. So this is a great system that Nelson, will have him on in a bit, and his company, Century H2O, founded. And it's a great way to filter all the toxicity out of your water, but put the minerals back in. And it's just so much better for you than reverse osmosis or drinking bottled water, because he has this proprietary technology where it's got this amazing carbon filter, and it's it's like Lance said, there's like all this icky stuff in your water, and it's a great way to take it out, and then it puts minerals back in your water. So for me, I think of it as kind of like drinking spring water. How when God made water in the springs that people used to drink, it had all these minerals and vitamins and things in it. And so the secondary filter in the system puts those things back in it, and it makes the water whole again, healthy again, living water. And yeah, it's just another great way to protect yourself and protect your family from our water system, another thing that can cause toxic living. And so, yeah.
Think about it. Nelson, join the show, will you, brother?
Hey, how you doing, Lance?
Good to see you, my friend. I'll tell you something. I'm excited about what you're doing because you've really got a passion for this one subject. And I think that water is such an essential part to the fundamental of the human body, like 90% water. And I'm thinking, man, if we're drinking these plastics, these toxins, these chemicals and the pharmaceuticals, you've stripped them, but you've also put the minerals back in. Give me the update on this because I'm fascinated. We're doing it now. I want to get it into my house.
Well, hey, Lance. The cool part about it is when you take a shower, you take in a pint of water. Okay, so your body's a big sponge, right? So you pull in all this water, you're taking a shower. So how do you fix that? You throw a house system in. It's very simple. It's one container, one tank. And here's the neat part. With our product line, when you put this in your home, you don't ever take it out. We give you a cleaning agent that cleans the carbon, so you never have to worry about it again. So one time buy, you're good forever. You don't even think about it. I don't even know where mine is anymore. My wife has put boxes around it. That's all you do. But problem is, when you take in all this water and it has arsenic, fluoride, chromium-6, boron, heavy metals, chlorine, ammonia, all that goes through your skin into your body. And what does that do? Toxicity, right? How can you live a full life if you're always sick? And that's what it is. It breaks down your immune system. And that's what the water does. And they figured out how to do this. Okay? The people, and then what happened is as you take in pharma, let's say I take in all kinds of vaccines and medicine. Every time I go to the washroom, you get to drink it. Sooner or later, it comes back up into the water supply, which doesn't sound very good, kind of sounds kind of ugly, but you get to enjoy that. And all that goes into your body. With our product, we take all that out.
I'd say when he got me thinking about it, I thought about the ice cubes because I'm going to the restaurant. When I get, so I get my bottled water with the ice cubes. I'm getting the chemicals from the restaurant's water supply.
Yes.
In the ice cube. You got me thinking, how many ways am I getting invaded, even if I'm trying to protect myself?
Well, hold on. So you're taking bottled water.
Right.
Okay. Lance, how do I kind of smack you around a little bit? You can't be doing that. Bottled water has plastic in it. So every time you get bottled water, which is RO water, you know what RO water in bottles is? They got to put poison in it so it doesn't grow bacteria or fungus while it's being transported. So they put that in there, right? So we never thought about this before, but now you got this bottle, it goes through a heat cycle in a semi, and the plastic breaks off, and now you're drinking plastic. How do you get overweight? Plastic seals your fat cells. Don't drink bottled water. That's the worst thing you can do. So there's where you're at. You're not helping yourself, Lance. You might as well just drink the water at the restaurant.
Oh my God. See, you're ruining it for me now. So all right. So next month, I'm gonna have you on again, and I want you to talk to me about your new invention, which is how I could have a filter system that could take water and make it healthy, because I can't just stay at home with your filtration system. I travel. But maybe
so I got portable, and then I got glass. We got cups, like bottles. Yeah, I can go out and you can grab the water in the river, in the lake, put it in this bottle. The filter that's in it removes all parasites, all bacteria. The same thing chlorine and ammonia does, we can do with paper now. This came from our space station. This is what they use. This is the level. So we're coming out with a prepper product that you can go and drink water anywhere you want. A horse product is hooks up for horses, campers. This is a new portable system. And if you go to a third world country, I recommend you take a little bottle with you, a little glass, and this thing here, you can drink the water right on the spot.
Ladies and gentlemen, Nelson is going to keep us healthy. Chelsea, where can they go to get 10% off? Because we're talking about his product, but I want to get you a discount, get you like the tithe to the Levites, like the Old Testament Jews. Take 10% off. How do they do that?
Go to lancewallnau.com/water. That's going to take you right to the Century H2O website, and it will auto apply the coupon code Lance. So make sure you see that coupon code at checkout, Lance, and that'll give you 10% off the products. And just to clarify, the prepper system, the water bottle system, that's coming. It's not out yet. So if you go online this week, you're going to see the under the sink system, the shower system, the whole house system. We really recommend the whole house system. Protect your whole house. I love showering with this water. It's amazing.
It makes her hair. She's always coming in. Do you like my hair? Do you like my hair? It's like, I actually like your hair. She goes, that's the new water system.
I know.
But now you're freaking me out whether your body's absorbing a quart of water in a shower. I take baths, and I'm thinking I'm absorbing 2 quarts probably.
Well, did you see that video of the guy online where he had 2 cups? He had like a cup of water, and it was full of chlorine, and they tested the chlorine amount, when he first poured it, and it had a ton of chlorine in it. And then he stuck his hand in the water for a little bit, and then he took his hand out, and then they tested the chlorine in the water, and there was no chlorine in the water because his skin absorbed it all. Your skin, I know, we have to find it.
Yes,
we have to find
yes.
it.
That's too much
So
for
gross.
me to handle right now, people.
It's gross.
No?
Your skin is an organ, and it absorbs everything. Like, people don't realize
Lord
that.
Jesus.
So lancewallnau.com/water. Use the code Lance to save 10%.
Right. Save 10%. I'm thinking about other things right now. I love you guys. Hey, Nelson, we're praying for you, brother. I'm praying God keeps you healthy, wealthy, and wise to keep us all healthy.
And wealthy.
And wealthy.
And
Amen.
wealthy.
In Jesus'
Okay,
name,
guys.
we'll see you all later. I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Did you enjoy this latest episode? Please remember to share it with your